stay on that sunny side of the street and just being positive, just waking up with an attitude of joy and smiling is sometimes tedious and hard to do. So I was just going to send out a reminder today to try to take advantage of especially the arts. Trying to get back into, some museums are at least open virtually. More and more concerts are appearing online. I think some of the theaters are moving forward and you can see movies online. So I think indulging a little bit in the arts during this time is one way to really work to keep our spirits up, to keep our intentions up, to stay on that bright side of life, and to bring those things in that give us joy, that fill our hearts, and that when we see them, they bring a smile to our face. So let me get my music started and we'll come up into a standing position. Got my band started. So coming up into a standing pose with our feet hip width apart and anchoring ourselves in the earth. Bringing the hands to the heart as we root ourselves in nature, as we root ourselves in the created world. Getting ready for some moon poses, which is such an integral part of nature. Yeah. I went out last night to see her because I had heard stories of how beautiful this wolf moon was. And I was just not prepared. It was like this huge lighthouse beam just coming out of the black sky. It was just so compelling. And, beautiful. So then we'll take these hands into the world, and inhaling and opening our arms slowly just to embrace that light, to embrace that radiance in the world today. A lot of wonderful things happening. I just never cease to be amazed or surprised. And then exhaling and bringing all that radiance into our hands and into the heart. Breathing it in to all the cells of our body, and breathing it out. And then we'll send this Namaskar Mudra once again into the world. And as we open the curtains, as we open our hearts and minds to the light, to brightness, to good things, leaving our arms out just as if we're the cormorants with their wings spread standing on the beach, absorbing all those sun rays, and then exhaling, bringing all that sunshine into our hands and back into the heart. Breathing in, breathing out. And then doing this one more time, sending that Namaskar Mudra into the world and opening and inviting all those sunbeams, inviting all that blue skyness into our minds and hearts. As we sit here and sunbathe on the beach of Rocky Mountain Lake, and then exhaling and inviting all of that into our being and into our hearts. Breathing in Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. So then we'll take this mudra up above us and leaning over to the left, having that lateral moon pose, holding the moon, holding its radiance over the world. It's almost like we're awakening the earth, awakening all living beings with its radiance. Breathing in, breathing out as we're extending to the side, and then we'll inhale to the center. We're in Snowy Mountain, of which we have a lot of them right now, but they're still short on snowfall, so we need to keep doing those snow dances that we're doing for increased precipitation. Leaning to the other side. So as we lean to the side, remembering that we take this opposite leg and press it into the earth more firmly. Holding that shining one. Inhaling to the center. And then we're going to exhale, spreading those wings on each side, coming down to the ground. And if you don't have your socks on, you can hook your fingers around those big toes. And that is the meridian that wakes up the higher centers of the brain. So we can squeeze those toes, hook them in, breathing in, breathing out. Inhaling the arms slowly as we come up into a Snowy Mountain again, and exhale through the foot of the mountain. And inhale into a gentle back bend, remembering to tuck that chin in. Coming to the front, and then we're going to whirl those arms around and down, bouncing up, and coming back and plugging into the heart. Breathing in, breathing out. So we'll start this movement once again, start this series, always starting on the left. Pressing both those feet into the earth, maintaining a little bit of softness in the knees, so the whole leg is engaged. We don't want everything to jam up and stop right at the knees. And then coming to the center, imagining our snowy summit, pure and clean and beautiful against that clear blue sky we have today, and then we're going to glide to the side. Letting that shining one shine forth into the world, awakening. Coming up to center and into Snowy Mountain again. And once again, we're going to take our arms out to both sides. Inhale and come down to the ground. And hooking those big toes in if you wish. Breathing in and out while we're hung over in the moon pose. And then lifting both our arms to each side of the body. Slowly rising up again into Snowy Mountain. Exhaling, inhaling, looking at that clear blue sky, but pulling that neck in, nice long neck, gentle back bend. So listening to that wisdom in the muscles, smiling as we make eye contact with the sun and the moon, coming up to center. So while we're here, we're gonna whirl those arms around. Yeah, I missed the lamp and bounce down again. Bouncing up, coming back to the heart. So we'll do this one more time. Bringing the arms up into Snowy Mountain and gliding to the side. I got a video of my daughter snowboarding yesterday, I think. And the snow was light and powdery, and she was yelling, "Woohoo!" And I thought, why don't we ever do that in yoga class? Gliding to the other side. And we're going, woohoo! Oh, not quite the same. Inhaling to the center. And then we're going to swan dive down. Wide wings, long back, long neck, and coming down to those big toes again. And we can squeeze them up, or we can just press the top of them to at least access a little bit of that area. Inhaling slowly up. Coming up to center, pressing through those feet, exhaling through the feet, coming up into a gentle back bend. Imagine being surrounded by that sunlight and blue sky today. It's just surrounding us. Coming up the center, and for our last time, we're going to whirl down. And as we whirl down, we're going to stay down. So we're placing our hands in the folds of our elbows. And with the hands there, we're just going to glide from side to side. You can widen your stance a little bit if you choose. So it's a little bit more of a lunge as we glide from side to side. Inviting that lower back. Inviting those glutes, which were biting me yesterday. And then some point, if you dare, we're going to slide and turn around the side. So as we reach the foot, we'll turn around towards the ankle. Getting into the lower back, a little bit more. And doing this with slowness and care. It's just like we're massaging the back. Breathing in one direction, breathing out in the other. So that we have a little dance going on. Dropping the hands towards the floor. Breathing in and out one more time. And then slowly rising. So we're going to let the hands and arms hang. I think this is called ragdoll. Letting the head, the arms, the hands just hang. Slowly stacking those vertebrae on top of each other and bringing the head up last. And as we come up high here, we're going to do this Captain Picard mudra, pulling our shirts down. And with the feet pretty well positioned towards the sides of our mats, we're going to inhale those arms up into shining star. So being that shining star, just as we welcome those glittering beings in the sky. Imagining that you're one of those radiant ones and shining your light into the world. Even though sometimes we feel like we're surrounded by the unknown and darkness, still smiling. And then we're going to come down into the Great Kahuna. So this is one of the moon poses. So we exhale and come down. Taking those hands, sticking the tongue out. And inhaling back up. And smiling. After we've done our don't mess with me pose, which is mostly just being firm in what you think is best for the comfort and joy of the world. And then we're going to exhale and come down again. Actually growling and coming up. So sometimes we need to be a little fiery about things that we love and that are good for the welfare of all. And so we're going to do it one more time, coming down and oh good, I heard some action on that one. And coming up and shining. So as we are here, we're going to rearrange our feet a little bit. So bringing that left foot out front, bringing the hands down to the heart. So we're setting up for kind of a warrior one stance. So our back foot is on a diagonal and the lead foot is straight ahead, but they're hip width apart. So bringing the hands to the heart, bringing that intention of compassion for the new year. We're going to exhale into that front knee, so we're bending it. And then we're sending both those arms to the, see what side is this today? It's my right side. The side opposite from the bent knee. Keeping that elbow up, keeping that focus ahead of I will not be determined from my goal to build a more compassionate society. And then gliding to the other side with the hands. As you're kind of a little bit above the heart. Breathing once or twice. And then we're going to slide them over again. Oh, it's just like we're snowboarding down the mountain. And then we're going to take these arms further behind us, especially the back arm. And it's going to come to the waist on the back. Keeping that front elbow raised. And then we're going to follow that motion with our eyes. So slowly changing the gaze to the side and all the way over our back shoulder. And once again, we're all looking sassy. We need that fiery spirit to bring in a compassionate new year. Breathing in and out, and then we're going to slow-mo those arms forward. Bringing them forward and then straight above the head as if we're in warrior one. Then we're going to angle them a little bit. Breathing in. Breathing out. Bringing the hands down to the thigh, leaning forward because we're going to bring this back leg up. And standing in mountain pose once again. Breathing in, breathing out. So then we're going to try this on the other side. Setting up that back leg on a diagonal and watching our lead foot as it inches forward so that they're kind of like this and hip width apart once again. Bringing the hands to the heart. And once again, bringing them to the side. So this is the other side than your bent knee. Exhaling into that front knee. Lifting the elbow. Breathing in and out with that determination of a kinder year. And then we're going to bring them to the side. Sending out those vibrations of kindness, of wanting to care for other members of humanity, regardless of their ideology. Coming to the original side once again. Oh, I have my assistant with me. Her name is Lily. So then we'll take this wing and send it around behind us on the back of the waist. And our gaze is slowly going to follow. Looking over the shoulder, giving a twist to our neck. Sinking into that front knee at the same time, feeling that back foot. At the same time as my cat proceeds with her own yoga routine, which involves a lot of tumbling. Then we're going to sweep that back arm out, bringing both arms to the front. Bringing both arms up into warrior one. And then sliding them down just a scooch. So relaxing those shoulders. Relaxing the elbows. Relaxing the wrist. Breathing in and out. And then we're going to come down to the thigh again. As we bring that leg up. Bringing our arms up into Snowy Mountain and down to the heart. So we're going to do the series one more time on each side, and then we're going to add a few things to it. So we'll come forward with the left foot again. That back right foot is on a diagonal. And we'll exhale into that front knee and gather both our arms together at the side. Breathing and sinking into that knee at whatever level is comfortable for you today. And then we're going to glide to the side. I'm rhyming this morning. It's scaring me a little bit. And then we'll go to the other side. And then we're going to take that arm all the way back to our waist. And the gaze is going to follow, looking behind us, still lunging into that front knee. Breathing in, breathing out. Bringing both those wings around to the front, slowly, slowly. And straight up overhead. Into warrior one, Virabhadrasana. and a little bit forward. Bringing the hands to the heart. And then turning to the side, I'm going to take this front foot and kind of heel toe it over so it's on the same line as my back foot. So we want both the feet lined up on the same line so that they're like this. So we're getting ready for kind of a warrior two type stance. Bringing the hands to the heart as we face sideways. Breathing in and out. Breathing in that clear blue sky. Sweeping those arms up. And from this, we're going to lunge a little bit forward and come down in Trikonasana. So we have one hand on the front leg, and the other hand can be up in the air on a diagonal or resting on the back. Breathing a couple times in this pose. And then inhaling both those arms up into warrior two. And exhaling into that front knee. And smiling as we're here with the blue sky. The moon slowly rising in the daytime sky. Being determined and holding that positive focus, and then bringing that elbow down on that front knee, or front leg, I should say, and the other arm rainbows over the head. So there's a little twist to the heart and the waist as we try to twist our heart towards the sun to make that connection with sunbeams and light once again. And then dropping this rainbow arm down to the ground, fingers crossing the ground as we whirl back up into warrior two. And here we'll parallel the feet up. So they're both pointed in the same direction, which is to the side. Bringing the hands to the heart. So sealing the pose with a kiss to the heart. Breathing in, breathing out. So then we're going to heel toe the feet in, because we're getting ready to turn to the other side. So setting up your foundation on this side. So the feet are far apart for the first part of the pose. Starting with the hands at the heart. And coming up with the arms to the side. Filling our heart with blue sky. And then shifting. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then we're going to shift to the other side. Pressing through the feet, feeling that strength in our legs to our mountain. And then we're going to send this wing all the way behind to the back. And we're going to send our gaze back there, following it. So that compromises our balance just a scooch. Watching our back, keeping the elbow lifted, sinking into that front knee. Feeling both those feet connecting with the earth. And lifting both wings, so we're bringing both wings towards the front and over the head, and then dropping them slightly. Coming to the heart, because we're going to rearrange our feet. So we're going to start with that front one, kind of toe heeling it over to the side, so it's on a line similar to the back foot. And that front heel is bisecting that arch of the back foot so that they serve us well. As we sweep the arms up for warrior two, but we're lunging forward to start with Trikonasana. Dropping that arm down to the front leg. The back arm can be up in the sky, on a diagonal, or on the back waist again. So twisting that heart just a little bit towards the sun, always wanting to get more of that. Breathing in, breathing out, directing our focus. Inhaling those wings back up. And we're going to find ourselves in warrior one again, or warrior two, sorry. And exhaling into that front knee. So here we are gazing over that sword arm with focused determination. To bring the world back to spirituality and community focus. Breathing in, breathing out as we sink into that knee a little bit, and then bring the elbow all the way down to that leg, and the back arm rainbows over the head. Filling us with color, filling us with beauty, filling us with new ideas to navigate this brave new world. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in courage, breathing in focus. And then dropping that arm past our face, fingers pointing to the earth, going back towards the back wall as we sweep ourselves up and parallel our feet up. Coming up with wings spread and then bringing the hands and wingtips back to the heart. Breathing in, breathing out. Bringing all that is natural outside, the nature, the birds, the bushes, the trees, the sun, the blue sky, bringing that all into the heart. And then bringing the toes in, bringing the heels in, toes, heels, heel, and walking around back towards the center and Namaskar Mountain. Breathing in, breathing out. So then we're going to, I think I'm going to demonstrate, because I don't know where everyone does their balance poses, but we're moving toward the full moon balance pose, which is coming next to the wall. And you can just watch me first if you're not remembering. So the inner hand to the wall is sliding down the wall. As it does that, our left foot, the big toe, rests in the earth. And pretty soon, that back leg begins to make contact with the plant that is behind you. And the front arm can come down to, if you're lucky, baseboard. So with full moon pose, we're trying to stack those legs on top of each other. Hip opener. Hip opener alert. And we're trying to come into a full moon. So if you have to move somewhere, you can go do that. And we're going to practice this a few times today. So as we're in the full moon pose again, using the wall for support, which I think is so nice. And imagining that you are shining. So the leg can be up anywhere, doesn't have to be all the way up. Even a little will do. So we're trying to stack these hips on top of each other. So the arm can be up or resting on the tailbone. And then we'll inhale up, sliding back up. So nice to use the wall on this one. And then whenever you're ready, we'll start setting up on the other side with the inner arm up against the wall and sliding down. And as it slides down, that back leg comes up a little bit. Come into contact. I missed the lamp. I think we're doing good. You can keep the gaze downward, or you can try to rotate to the side, to the front. And you may be, excuse me, you may find that it's easier to lift a leg on one side or the other, so it just shows us where we have our little pockets of tightness, where we stash our stress. So I read this old quote that I used once upon a time, and it just made me giggle. And I think it said something like, well, if opportunity is knocking and the door is not opening or you can't find the door, make a new door. So inhaling, trying to see if we can come up gracefully. And then turning around, and we'll do this one more time. So setting up with the wall on the other side. Starting with your arm that's against the wall. And maybe taking a step forward. And slowly bringing that arm down, just like the moon rises so slowly in the sky. And at some point, raising that back leg. And if you don't have a baseboard, you can just hang out. So trying to open those shoulders as well. It's kind of like we're flying. Being that spectacular moon glowing in the sky. I think last night I called the moon darling It was just so beautifully breathtaking. Breathing in and out. And feel those leg muscles working, and then coming out slowly if we can. Although there are certainly those times when I come out more quickly. And setting up on the other side. So with one arm scaling up the wall, stepping forward, and maybe as we're coming down with the arm, we're raising up the leg. So there's a slight turn to the leg as we try to stack these legs, these hips on top of each other. And reaching for the stars. Reaching for those stars once again. Breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then once again, coming up. And we'll waddle over to our mats and sit down. So if you want to, as we come down, we can come down into child's pose. You can spread the knees apart. And come all the way down to the earth. So we've been lighting the earth and sending our light to the earth, and now we're coming down, almost blending and being one with the earth.
I'm gonna fix that. I can't see anything.
So sometimes if the knees are tight, you might be in tabletop or come down on the forearm. So how we present ourselves in this pose depends on the knees and the hips to a large extent. Breathing in and out. And just relaxing into the earth. And then coming up into tabletop. And maybe first we'll walk those knees forward and come into turtle, bringing those soles of the feet together and relaxing those legs. Done a lot of work this morning. Sometimes it's nice just to take the hands and run down the legs, reminding them that we care about them. We're always taking them to task for one thing or another. Rounding the back. So then walking the hands up the legs And bringing the legs so that the soles of the feet are into your mat or into the ground, and they're quite a distance away from each other, because we're going to bring our hands behind us and do the rumba. So trying to bring that inner knee and outer knee down to the mat, rolling the hip and the whole leg from side to side. Sometimes we find ourselves scooting around a little bit on this one. Doing a few more Rumbas. And then we're going to come into tabletop. So we're coming onto our hands, our starfish hands in front. And our knees hip width apart in the back. And we're going to do a few cat-cows while we're here, putting that belly in the back, exhaling and doming the back, bringing the glutes down to the heels a little bit. And then on the inhale breath, it invites us back into tabletop, back with shouting to the sky with our tailbones, building that valley, and then exhaling, doming the back, being that scaredy cat, bringing those hips back down towards the heels, not all the way. And we'll try this 1 or 2 more times. Inhaling, making that valley, boning home with the tailbone, and then rounding the back and coming down to the ground. Oh gosh, lots of rhyming today. Oh, scaring myself. I have a friend who does Harasana classes in hip hop, and I'm afraid that I'm going that route. And then exhaling and coming down. And she would say, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. And then 1 more time coming up. Listening to the breath. Inhaling the tailbone up, creating the valley. And then exhaling into foothills. Coming down to the hips, to the heels. So as we come up into tabletop once again, we're going to bring that left leg up somehow in between our hands. So there's one hand on each side of the left leg. So we have that foot planted in the ground, and then we're going to bring the hands up to the thigh. So breathing into the ground here. So we're getting ready to paint some crescent moons up in the sky, and we're going to paint like 3 of them. So if you're up here on your left knee, we're going to take that left hand and raise it up and go all the way behind your head and exhale it slowly down. Inhaling that paintbrush up, having that whole sky be your canvas, painting another crescent moon up there. It's going to be bright tonight. All those moons up there. We're going to paint 1 more. Gentle back bend. Coming back with both hands on the thigh. So next time we're going to inhale, bringing both those hands up into kneeling warrior. Or kneeling warrior if you prefer. Pressing into that foot. And then we're going to go into victorious warrior, which is just dropping the arms into a T position. and raising the head up towards the sky. Breathing in, breathing out. Being victorious and imagining what that looks like. What does that world look like? And then bringing the arms back up again. And as we bring them down, they're going to hit the knee and just follow the leg all the way down. And we're going to find ourselves in tabletop once again, taking that knee back. Breathing once or twice. And then bringing the other leg up in between our starfish hands, once again. So the other side is saying, me too. So first finding our place with one knee and one foot, and then rising up slowly to put both hands on the thigh of this leg and finding your foundation, finding your balance. I sometimes like to curl the toes in the back, or you can leave your foot flat, whichever you fancy. So once again, we're going to start with creating our crescent moons, those wonderful little Cheshire cat smiles in the canvas of the sky. So inhaling that arm up, over the head and behind. So your gaze does not need to follow that necessarily. And slowly bringing it back down. Inhaling that brush on the canvas all the way up. Exhaling all the way down. And then going up one more time. Inhaling up, gentle back bend, exhaling down. And while we're still here invigorating our knee, we're going to try to raise both arms up with a smile. Kind of cheering ourselves on with that smile. Being the Virabhadra warrior, that spiritual warrior, that warrior for kindness, that warrior, I can say it, warrior for caring and connection. And then we're going to drop the arms down on a little bit of diagonal. And then bringing the hands all the way down to the knee and down to the floor. Coming all the way down. And as we're finding ourselves in tabletop, before we go out of the pose completely, we're going to come into tabletop, swinging that knee to the front elbow, relaxing the back and the glutes. Swinging that leg out a couple of times. And then switching legs and doing the other side. Either with starfish hands or knuckles into the floor. Swinging that leg. Just letting it fly. And then coming all the way down with those glutes. Coming down into a comfortable cross-legged position, and we'll visit maybe the hamstring stretch. I think we did this one last week, where we lift the left leg with the sole of the foot into the earth. And then switching our hand position to behind our leg, stretching it out. Stretching through the heel. Feeling that foot shine, making that foot bright, and then hugging it into the back, but resisting that compulsion to round the back, growing the back tall. As we squeeze this leg into the chest and swing that leg back out again. Inhaling that leg in and sweeping it out a third time. Making that foot bright. And then we're going to take the opposite forearm and lean over on our side and bring this leg back. So we bring it as far as we feel comfortable with, trying to keep that hip up. Being present with our hip and leg on this side of the body. Giving it our full attention. And then before we go, we're going to tap the ground with that knee 4 times. So just kind of lowering it, lifting it up, lowering and lifting, lowering and lifting, lowering and lifting. And then we're going to release it and let it come to the front. Hopefully it'll return to the front. And then we're going to start prepping to bring that other leg front and forward. So bringing the other leg up now, getting ready to repeat this little duet on this side of the body. So stretching that leg out, making that foot bright and square and shining into the world through our feet. And then pulling it in, growing tall with our heads in that blue sky. And then sweeping that leg out again, squaring that foot, shining away. Then exhaling that leg into the body. And then one more time, sweeping that leg out. So this is the time when we'll take it to the side. So we're putting our forearm into the earth as we are sending this leg behind us, trying to keep it at hip width. So that engages all these muscles in the hips a bit. And just being present with that for a moment. So letting the mind soften, letting the mind smile, having that smiling mind. And then once again with this pose, we're going to tap the earth with our knee 4 times. Just as if it's a magic wand. And on the 4th time, come around front and center once again. And we're going to actually go down onto our stomachs for cobra. So turning around on your bellies. Finding a way to puddle into the earth with the hands underneath the forehead. And just breathing and resting for a while. And merging with the earth. And one thing that's nice about Cobra and the belly poses, the prone poses, is that we breathe more and access more the back of the lungs. So a lot of times we do a lot of front lung breathing. And it's the back lungs that we need to access, that we need to get into, so that the respiration is more of a whole lung function. And that is how we maintain healthy lungs. So we're just breathing, being present with those lungs. And feeling all those muscles of the back engaging as we breathe. So then we're going to bring our hands near our ears. Inhaling up and sliding those arms forward into the position of your choice for Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. The eyes looking up towards the sky, exercising those eyes, and then exhaling and coming down. Coming down into the mat again. Inhaling, and as we inhale and unfold, those arms slide forward, and so we may come into our arms or into our hands. Eyes are looking up, and then exhaling and escalating down. Down to the earth. Inhaling, sliding the hands and arms forward, coming up into a manageable elevation and looking up with the whole head this time. So we're stretching the front of the throat, the thyroid, and exhaling straight ahead. And then coming down again. So we'll do this a couple more times. Inhaling up, scooching the hands and arms forward, coming up. And we're doing the version where we look dynamically up at the ceiling, stretching that vagus nerve on the back of our head, stretching the thyroid, and then coming forward and exhaling down. So we'll come up one last time. So Cobra massages all those organs on the front of the body, giving them a little massage, and coming all the way down. So as we come down, we're going to raise our right arm forward and push ourselves over with the other hand, so that we're going to end up eventually on the back, which entails lots of scooting and positioning and Coming on to the back. So we're on the back with our soles of our feet in the ground, planted there. And our knees are facing up towards the sky. And for a moment, we're just going to place the knees into each other so we can just rest for a moment. So breathing in, breathing out. And pushing that waist of the back into the earth. Inhaling and letting it rise. It has a natural arc there. And then exhaling the whole waist into the floor. And exhaling and letting it rise to its natural form. And then we'll do that one more time. Pressing that waist into the ground and letting it rise. Rises just like pancakes. So then we're going to lift our leg up and press that ankle into the knee of the other leg. And somehow bring your hands to either side of this base leg and come out around the knee or around the thigh. So we're practicing the eye of the needle once again, pressing that elbow into the thigh of that leg that's in front. So we're revisiting this one once again. Breathing in, breathing out. Thinking about, well, is there some area of my life that I can't find the doorway and I need to just build a door? Do we have to build a door? So while we're here, we're making circles with our ankles, with both feet actually. In one direction, turning those ankles, bless them, they take a lot of wear and tear, and then turning them the other way. Hopefully your circles are a little bit rounder than my circles are. Breathing in, breathing out. So then we're going to send both legs up to the sky. And we're going to make the other leg be the base leg. So putting the sole of that foot into the earth and turning the remaining leg, of which hopefully you just have one, to the side on top of that knee. Bringing the hands along the outside of that leg and the inside of the leg and coming up to the knee or the back of the thigh. And pressing your elbow into the thigh of the leg in front. Being present with the hips again. And we can begin twirling those ankles on this side. Oh gosh, my twirling is like squares. So, did you all see that study that was I saw it in the Post yesterday about they put objects that were blue but that had pointers on them in robins' nests to see if they would accept them as eggs or push them out of the nest. And they pushed them all out. Who does this? Oh my goodness. And then going the opposite way. Turning those ankles and allowing them to orbit away. Bringing both legs up to the sky. And then while we're here, you can either raise your hips off the ground or just put both your arms underneath your glutes. And we're going to do some bicycle riding once again. Don't know if you guys have brought your bicycles out. It's only January going into February. I saw a lot of people in shorts yesterday. Oh my goodness. So pressing with those bright feet, making those feet like bright, flat, shining into the world. Riding our bikes forward maybe right now. Pushing those feet away from the body. And then, now that we're somewhere in the world, we'll change directions, hoping that our muscle memory will serve us well as we go backwards in the bicycle. Feeling those thighs come down to the chest, pressing those legs away. I think we're ready for Cirque du Soleil. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think we're there. We're ready to all sign up. And then holding the legs straight in the sky above the head. And lowering one leg down slowly, letting it go all the way down to the ground. Oh gosh, I'm rhyming again. And as soon as it touches the ground, eventually sending that other leg down as well. And then finding a comfortable position for deep relaxation. As we get settled on the floor, we can roll our head from side to side and see how the neck is doing. And eventually come to a position where we're at peace, where we're relaxed. Where we are calm. Relaxing into the earth, allowing the muscles, inviting our muscles to relax a little bit more with each exhalation. Imagining that we're on one of those lovely beaches in New Zealand. Underneath the palm tree. Laying on top of the sand, but eventually blending with the sand, puddling into the sand. Allowing the mind to soften. remaining hopeful. Up and down, cave along, 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 Baba Nam cave along, Baba Nam cave along, Baba Nam cave along, Baba Nam cave along, up and down, came along, Bob and Nam came along, Baba Nam came along, Baba Nam came along, Baba Nam came along, Bob and 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 Nam came along, Baba Nam came along, Baba Nam came along, Baba Nam came along, Bob and 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 Nam came along, Baba 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 Nam came and you always find that light in your life. May it guide you on your journey. Thank you for coming.